You know that collection of jars sitting in your kitchen cabinet? Well, it turns out it's way more than just for cooking. It's like a little time capsule, a chemistry lab, and a map of the world all rolled into one. So today, we're going to unlock the secret history hidden in your spice rack.
So let me ask you something. What could an orchid, a simple blade of grass, and a piece of tree bark possibly have in common? I know, it sounds like a weird riddle, right? But believe it or not, the answer is probably sitting in your kitchen right now. Stick with me, and we are going to solve this.
All right, so here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll jump back 50,000 years to see just how long we've been obsessed with spices. Then, we'll get into what a spice actually is. After that, we'll uncover the totally shocking family connections between some of your favorites. And finally, we'll look at the incredible power of spices that goes way beyond just making food taste good. First up, let's be clear. Our love for spice isn't some new trend you saw on a cooking show. Nope, this is an ancient habit, one that's, and I mean this, literally as old as we are. What's just wild is how far back this goes. We're talking 50,000 years ago. Paleolithic folks were already spicing things up. But the first hard proof? This is so cool. Archaeologists found these 6,000-year-old cooking pots in Denmark and Germany. And inside, they found traces of garlic mustard seeds mixed in with meat and fish. Now, these seeds have basically zero nutritional value, which tells us one thing loud and clear. They were using it for flavor. Fast forward, and we see the first written records from China, and then, of course, the Age of Discovery, which just completely redrew the world's flavor map, bringing us things like paprika and vanilla from the Americas.
So, we've been using them forever, but what exactly makes something a spice? I mean, is it a leaf? Is it a seed? Where does all that flavor actually come from? Okay, so here's the key. A spice can be pretty much any part of a plant. But what makes it special are its unique chemical compounds. These little things create the intense smells and tastes. It's not about calories or vitamins, it's pure chemistry.
And seriously, when I say any part, I mean literally any part of a plant. It's pretty amazing when you stop and think about all the different bits and pieces we've figured out how to use. Let's break it down. All right, let's start from the ground up, literally. When you're grating fresh ginger or turmeric, what you're actually using is a rhizome. It's this special kind of underground stem. Same deal with wasabi. These spices get all their pungent, earthy flavor right from the soil. Now let's move up the plant. You know that cinnamon stick you put in your tea? Yeah, that's the dried inner bark of a tree. And cloves, get this, they aren't seeds or fruits. They're actually the tiny, unopened flower buds of a clove tree, picked right before they have a chance to bloom. Now, we get to the most common sources, fruits and seeds. The black peppercorns on your dinner table, those are actually the cooked and dried, unripe fruit of a pepper plant. Wild, right? Chilies, allspice, those are fruits too. And nutmeg? That's the seed hiding inside a fruit. It's kind of crazy how much flavor gets packed into these little things. And of course, we've got leaves like bay leaf and rosemary, we all know those. But what about the most expensive spice in the entire world? Saffron. It's not a seed, it's not a root, it's the stigma, that tiny little part in the middle of a crocus flower that catches pollen. Every single one has to be picked by hand. Insane. All right, so now we know what a spice is and what part of the plant it comes from. But this is where it gets really weird. You're not going to believe who's related to who in your spice cabinet. Let's start with the mint family. Okay, it makes sense that basil, rosemary, and thyme are all related, right? They've got that classic herbal vibe. But get this, sage and even lavender, yep, that fragrant flower, they belong to the exact same family. And check this out. This next one is a real mind-bender. The humble carrot shares a family tree with some of the most famous seeds in the world. That warm, earthy flavor of cumin you put in chili? Or that sweet licorice taste from anise? Yep, all close cousins of the carrot. Hey, remember that riddle from the beginning? Well, here's your first answer, vanilla. Probably the most beloved flavor on the entire planet. And it comes from an orchid. That's right, the beautiful, delicate flower. Vanilla is the fruit of an orchid. And now for the second part of that riddle, that amazing, bright, citrusy flavor you get from lemongrass and Thai food, that comes from a member of the grass family. You are literally flavoring your soup with a special kind of grass. So, spices are cool, right? They've got this incredible history, this fascinating botany, but their story is so much bigger than just taste, because for most of history, their most critical role was all about survival. Think about it. For thousands of years, before we had refrigerators, spices were an absolutely critical piece of technology. This wasn't just about adding a little something extra to a meal, this was a key tool for making food last and for keeping people from getting sick. So, how in the world does this work? Well, it all comes down to those powerful compounds inside the spices. First, they have antioxidants that slow down the process that makes fats go bad and taste rancid. In fact, studies have shown that adding black pepper to pork helps prevent that from happening. And second, they have antimicrobial properties that actually fight the growth of nasty bacteria that could make you sick. And this power to fight off bad stuff also made them our first medicine cabinet. Long before pharmacies, the spice rack was it. Ancient cultures all over the world, Egypt, Sumer, China, they all documented the medicinal uses of spices. Things we still use today, like ginger for nausea or turmeric for inflammation, have been our go-to remedies for thousands of years. So when you really look at it, from the earliest human campfires all the way to our modern kitchens, spices have been our constant companions. That's over 50,000 years of flavor, of preservation, and of medicine, all thanks to these incredible plants. So I'll leave you with this one thought. The next time you reach for the cinnamon or sprinkle on some pepper, take a second and look closer. Are you just seeing a collection of jars, or are you seeing what's really there? A library of botany, chemistry, and 50,000 years of human history.